We are now into July. The first half of 2024 has been and gone, and the Pokemon Seal market has been going crazy so far this year, with Sword and Shield going to absolute crazy heights, and then Scarlet and Violet sets, even though some are relatively new, are starting to see actual gains, which is really, really impressive. Today, though, we're going to be going back into the Sword and Shield era. I know, we're talking about Sword and Shield again, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit of what's been going on, because a lot of these sealed boxes have kind of stopped, slowed down, and even started to drop in price, even though they're sold out on the Pokemon Center website and have become harder to get hold of. So now could be a good time to grab some goodies. So today we take a look at TCG Player at the Sword and Shield booster box market, the main best sets, right? So from Battle Styles onwards, because the ones previous to that haven't really done anything. So from Battle Styles onwards, we're also going to be looking at what it's going to be like here in the UK as well, so we can get an idea of the UK prices and also the US prices and see what's going on. Let's get into the first one. All right, starting things off with Battle Styles. I absolutely love Battle Styles, I really do, and it's been doing very well. $136 for a Battle Styles booster box. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? I mean, usually it's dubbed as one of the weakest sets in the Sword and Shield era. It is the first set that contains alt art, has my big boy T-Tar that's doing incredibly well, and the booster box is doing well as well. I mean, over the past 3 months, this has gone from $100 a box, 110, sorry, to around that nearly 140, which is pretty impressive. We go back over the past year though, we can really see the growth. It was actually around that 100, and then it started to grow. So it's gone up by about 35 to 40%, which is pretty impressive, and especially for a set that's deemed as a weaker set, right? But it's still doing very well, and I'm pretty happy to see Battle Styles, you know, on the uptick. You know, we've seen all these other ones going out of stock and getting really expensive. It's really cool to see that Battle Styles doing well. Over here in the UK, let's take a look at what we got going on. So we got recently sold here for £110. That's not too bad. 112. Let's see what we can find. We got some ETBs. £100. £97. So pretty cheap, in all honesty, you know, compared to, you know, 135, 140. The fact that you could pick up for around £100 a box right now, that's pretty good. Like, I would still go for that. I would still pick that up for around £100, because like, even if it eventually climbs back up to just its retail price at 1.45, you're still making what, 45% profit. Pretty wild. All right, moving on to Chill and Rain, Chilling Pain. Of course, Chill and Rain did very well. I mean, when it sold out over here in the UK, it's sharp. When it sold out over in the US, on Pokemon Center website, it's sharp as well. And things are getting a little bit expensive. The cards are going crazy in this set. So we're looking at $230. This one's actually been doing relatively well. Still climbing, you know, still doing well. We've gone from 195 up to 230. So, you know, over the past month, it's kind of leveled out a little bit, starting to dip just a smidge, but not a huge amount. So nothing to worry about at the moment. But yeah, look, over the past year, 140 to nearly gaining $100 in value. That's crazy. And I expect Chill and Rain to be eventually, you know, maybe $500 a box, you know, in the future, maybe even more. So yeah, Chill and Rain's a good one. Don't forget all the arts in there. You've got a ton of amazing cards. I mean, I've kind of beaten to death how much I talked about and how good Chill and Rain is, but it is really that good. So I do expect it to do relatively well, especially with the single card prices going up and things are going crazy. You know, now could potentially be a good time. It's one of the few that are actually doing really well. Let's take a look over here in the UK. So we've got basically £200 including postage for this booster bot. 180, well, postage 184. That was not too bad. Let's go further down here. 184, 183, 175 best offer. So yeah, I mean 160. So you can actually pick up a Chill and Rain box for under 200. It's not too bad. Like, in all honesty, if you're gonna like obviously keep it sealed, it's like you can still buy booster packs for about £4. So you can still get loose packs for a reasonable price, you know, retail. But yeah, if you go for a booster box, you could still get one for quite under 200, well under 200. I mean, you know, we're talking 160, 170 a box. That's actually not too bad. All right, on to Fusion Strike now. So we're going to look at Fusion Strike next. Fusion Strike 238. So pretty much the same as Chill and Rain. I mean, both of them have always been pretty neck and neck. But Fusion Strike over the past 3 months hasn't really been doing much. I mean, it's been going up and down like a yo-yo compared to Chill and Rain, which was kept going up and up and up. Fusion Strike over the past month kind of had a little bit of a dip, and it's like trying to get back up. Over the past year, Hey, look, we saw the boom of Fusion Strike, right? Kind of Fusion Strike kind of behind Evolving Skies kind of led the way. With like going out of stock and then going crazy. So yeah, we're looking around $240. It's kind of just leveled out over the past 3 months. Hasn't really done much. Crazy thing is, it's still available over here in the UK for £145 on the Pokemon Center website. So I'm going to be interested to see what it's going to be like on eBay. So over on eBay, let's take a look at our Fusion Strike booster box. £152. That's crazy because you can buy it for cheaper than on the Pokemon Center website. That's wild. $160. Best offer accepted. I don't know what the best offer was, but again, pretty wild. $165. Why are people overpaying for a Fusion Strike booster box? You could literally buy it cheaper on the Pokemon Center website, and it's free postage. That's crazy. It goes to show you that people don't necessarily realize it. $175, nearly $180 a box, and you could buy it for £35 cheaper on the Pokemon Center website. Come on, guys, come on. $150, $160, $175 best offer. $115, I mean, that's alright. $175, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. As of recording this, it's still available on the Pokemon Center website. Just so you guys can see, I'm on the Pokemon Center website, we're on the UK, it's in stock, one per customer. It's still available for £143. Guys, don't overpay it on eBay. Don't pay that $160, $170, $180. That's nuts. Just grab it off the Pokemon Center website. It's still available. Right, next up we got Evolving Skies. Look, with Evolving Skies, it's just silly expensive. It really is. I still do believe, though, even at the price point at $700 a box, I do still believe that it has more room to grow. I really do. And some people even think it's going to be a $3,000+ box in the future. So if that is the case, then you're going to do very well. You might have to wait a while, but you're doing very well. Over the past 3 months, it is it kind of leveled out and didn't do anything for the past 3 months, but over the past month, it's ticked up just a few dollars here and there. So no real growth. You know, over the past month, it's gone up by like $10, if that. So as we can see over the past 6 months, this will give us a better indicator. We've seen the booster box rise very, very quickly from that, you know, 450, 460 up to that nearly 700. And it's just kind of stayed pretty steady. If we go back over the year, we can really see, you know, this year it had a big boom at the end of last year, and then it's pretty leveled out, and that's quite interesting. You know, of course, booster packs again really expensive. Booster boxes are still relatively, you know, $700 is not cheap. There's only one listing on here for $1,500. Bit odd, but there you go. So yeah, Evolving Skies, I still do believe it is pretty decent if you can get hold of one. Probably for around $700. Obviously, if you can afford it, it is expensive, but I do still believe it has more room to grow. I've said it has the potential to be $1,000 a box, but I think it, you know, people talk about 3,000, 5,000, you know, more than Team Up. It has potential, but we just don't know. All right, so let's take a look over here. We want to look for specifically booster boxes. £600, 600, 530, but £34 postage. That's crazy postage. Let's see what we got here. 575, 575. There's a half box, 575. So I would eat a 550. Wow. I would argue that you could probably pick it up for maybe between 550 and 600 a box. So that's not, I say it's not too bad. It obviously is a lot of money, but that's all right. That's actually less than I thought. I thought the Evolving Skies booster boxes at the moment was like pretty similar to, you know, dollars to pounds when it comes to like the charts and everything. I actually thought that we're looking at, you know, Evolving Skies boxes being that 650 to 700 range, but no, it's actually between the 550 to 600 range, which is actually not bad. Next up, we got Brilliant Stars. Now, Brilliant Stars has been doing relatively well. Of course, it's always been one of the more expensive sets. I don't know why it was, but it was like the most expensive set for a long time. Like, it was holding off, going up in price for ages, but it was also higher than all the others. It's kind of strange. So we're looking at $181. Has actually started to dip over the past month or so. That's one thing to look out for moving forward. So yeah, over the past month we can actually see it go from 194 down to 181. So it is on the decline right now, and this is what I was talking about. Some of these boxes are now starting to cool off a little bit, and the same goes for the cards, which we'll get to in a future video. But 194 down to 181 over the past year. It still obviously is highest point, but I don't actually think this is the most expensive it's ever been. I'm pretty sure it used to be more expensive than this. It is doing relatively well, even though it is, I believe it is sold out on the US Pokemon Center website. That's probably why it's climbing. Trainer Gallery set though, very good set. We know how good Brilliant Stars is. I do expect it to continue to climb, but at the moment it is cooling off, which is actually somewhat nice. Right, let's take a look over here. Brilliant Stars. Wow, that is pretty impressive. So let's see what we got here. We got 160 a box. You know, not too bad. So, you know, we're looking at a little bit more than what it has been going for, around that 140, which is what it used to be going for. And then we have more ETBs, and then we have more ETBs, 200, 142. Okay, so that's the usual price I'm thinking of. 142. Let's see, we got the half boxes here. 149, 140, 145, 145. So I would say 140. So yeah, I would probably say anywhere between 140 and 150 is basically retail, right? So yeah, that's about right for Brilliant Stars. I do rate the set. I still think it's good. I think it's still available on the Pokemon Center website here. Basically the same price, so it doesn't really make much difference. But yeah, Brilliant Stars, I think at that price point, I think it's good. I know it's been that price point for ages, but I do think that's actually pretty good going, especially it's still available on the Pokemon Center website. It's a good one. Right, Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance has been climbing quite well. You know, we looked at, you know, obviously Brilliant Stars. We can see Astral Radiance. Over the past 6 months, it's gone from 135 and it had started to have a jump because I believe it became unavailable on the Pokemon Center website, and I think then it came back on the Pokemon Center website. I don't know if it's still there or not. So it kind of cooled off a little bit. Still climbing ever so slightly, but not these high, steep jumps, because you can see over the past year that is at the most expensive point, highest point. Over the past month, it's climbed a little bit, but kind of leveled out. So still doing very well. I do rate Astral Radiance. Again, another Trainer Gallery set, loads of amazing art. You know, pretty decent Trainer Gallery. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well this does in the future. I think this and Brilliant Stars are kind of neck and neck. But if this is still available on Pokemon Center website in the US, then I think it will start to climb even more once it sells out. But if it is still available on Pokemon Center website, just buy it from there, because it's way worth it right now compared to paying like 180 a box. So, right, let's take a look over here on Astral Radiance. 128 a box, 130. What else we got here? 115, 135. 126, 118, so maybe 120 to 130, I guess, 125 a box. That's actually one of the cheapest ones going. I mean, apart from Battle Stars, that's the cheapest one we've seen so far. I think that's worth it, guys. I do genuinely think it's worth it. I think now's a great time to grab Astral Radiance. Look, as if it's 180 on TCG Player, and we could pick up over here for like 120 a box. That's actually really good going. So that could be another potential set that you could look at adding into your collection or getting more in, because that's actually a reasonably good price. That's less than what I thought. I thought it was going to be about 130, 140 a box. Wow, pretty impressive. Then we have Lost Origin, which a lot of people, you know, rate as one of the best Sword and Shield era sets, and it's doing very well. It has been climbing up pretty good, to be honest. $188. It is starting to cool down quite substantially. So over the past 3 months, it went from 176 up to a high of 225 a box, and is now 188. Wow, that is quite a big steep drop. Over the past month, we've seen it drop over nearly $30 in value over the past month. Over the past 6 months, we can start seeing things cooling off. Things are starting to fall a little bit, and again, that's what we want to see. Like over the past year, we can really see the growth of Lost Origin. But look, you know, if you're, of course, if you're buying at that point, it's going to, you know, kind of suck when you kind of look at it dropping, but it's going to bounce back, right? It will. I think the hype was just too much too fast, and it's starting to cool off a little bit, because you're having a lot of people that are just selling it, right? If they bought boxes at like 100 when they came out, and they're going for like 220, they're going to sell them, and that's all we're seeing, and you know, that's why it's dropping. So yeah, Lost Origin, not a bad price actually. Yeah, 188 sounds crazy to say that, but as we've seen from its highs, it's not bad. Over here in the UK now, we actually had Lost Origin sell out super fast, and it was one of the first ones to sell out and spike in value. £200 a box. It's still more expensive over here in the UK than it is over in the US. £200 a box, 205, 200, we have 219. So yeah, it's 200, best offer accepted. Crazy. 185. So yeah, it's more expensive over here. Lost Origin is definitely one of the few, compared to what we've looked at. Some of the other sets are cheaper over here than over in the US. Lost Origin so far that we've seen is the only one that's more expensive over here in the UK. So if you're looking to pick up Lost Origin, you're going to start seeing packs being more expensive. I think the cheapest I've now seen of Lost Origin packs online is like £5.50 a pack. So that's just for a loose pack. So it is getting more and more expensive. We are starting to see, you know, prices rising for Lost Origin and it drying out over here. So keep that in mind if you do want to get Lost Origin over here. It is getting more and more expensive. And then finally today we have Silver Tempest, the last set of the Sword and Shield era. Got reprinted at the same time as Lost Origin, and we're looking at 162. So, you know, is one of the cheaper ones that we're looking at today on TCG Player. Over the past 3 months, it did go up a little bit, and you know, around 140 up to 160, and then started to dip a little bit down, just a few dollars here and there. We go back over the past year, we can see the growth of Silver Tempest. There is still a lot of Silver Tempest around compared to others, but yeah, this booster box is on the uptick compared to like Lost Origin, which is cooling off a little bit. Silver Tempest has room to grow, of course, and is one of the more cheaper booster boxes with a pretty average trainer gallery, but big chase card in the Lugia. The rest of the set's kind of weak though, and that's the downside of Silver Tempest, but still doing relatively well. Over here in the UK, Silver Tempest 155, that's more than I expected. Let's see what else we got. Case here 822. Okay, so 140 a box, so basically retail. That's what I was thinking. So 140. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 150, 140. So we're looking around about retail. 140 for a Silver Tempest booster box. I don't know if it's sold on the Pokemon Center website, but 140 basically the same anyway, so it doesn't really make much difference. I still think it's relatively good to pick up for 140. I'm still surprised about Astral Radiance being as cheap as it is. Actually, Astral Radiance was more than Silver Tempest. That's wild. So yeah, Silver Tempest is not bad, like 140. So I think at the moment it's doing well, but still there's a lot of it around. There you have it, guys. That is what's been going on with the Sword and Shield booster box market right now in both the US and the UK. Both quite different, same but different. Lost Origin is the big surprising factor because it is still more expensive here than over in the US. Astral Radiance is a surprising one of how cheap it is over here in the UK. You gotta be careful, guys. I think any booster boxes that's 140 or less right now is relatively good to pick up, right? Especially over here in the UK. I actually think it's relatively good. Astral Radiance is probably one of the better ones to get. Battle Style's relatively cheap. Golden Sky's a lot less, at roughly around 550 to 600. So yeah, we could be looking at, you know, some really good potential buy-ins that you can get. Over in the US, there are definitely room to pick up stuff. Lost Origin dropping in price is a really, really good one to look out for. Brilliant Stars. Fusion Strike dropping as well. I mean, Fusion Strike is a no-brainer over here in the UK. Like, if you're going to buy any booster box, just buy Fusion Strike. Like I said, get it from the Pokemon Center website. Don't overpay it on eBay. You can still get it relatively cheap. And I think, yeah, any booster box you can pick up for around retail right now in Sword and Shield is doing pretty good. But I will be covering the big chase cards from Sword and Shield era because they have kind of gone the same way. Things are cooling off. Some things have dropped quite significantly in value. But I will also be covering the Scarlet and Violet era because Scarlet and Violet is doing the opposite to Sword and Shield, where it's going up. Not by crazy amounts, but booster boxes are moving. They're going up in price. Of course, reprints potentially are on the horizon for a lot of Scarlet and Violet era sets. But on TCG Player, they are going up, let's say. Over here in the UK, though, you can pick up Scarlet and Violet pretty cheap, around 100, maybe 105 a box, pretty much any set. But we'll be covering that in a future video anyway, and we'll compare the two and see what's been going on. But if you've made it far into the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments on what's been going on in the Sword and Shield era. Do you think it's cooling off? Do you feel like things went up too fast? I do. I think things have climbed way too quickly. People are selling it and the prices are dropping. I don't expect it to drop back down to what it was at retail, but I do expect to see booster boxes cooling off a little bit and hopefully going back to some normal gradual growth, because some of it has just been absolutely crazy. But that is it from me, guys, in today's video. If you want to watch more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course make sure to hit that subscribe button. But thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are the legends, and I'll see you in the next one.